Good morning, everyone. I'm David Robles from Wireless Zone, the Verizon wireless store on 129 and Route 6 in Mahopac, and we have a store at Independence Way, a Verizon store across from Home Depot in Brewster. And I was asked to just talk a little bit about the PPP loans. Fortunately, I was one of the lucky ones and got the loan right away. And I don't want to go over the loan or the detail about it because I think all of you pretty much know what it is already. But one of the things I can tell you is that if you haven't gotten funding yet and you are looking to do that, is just make sure you have your information together. Make sure you have all your payroll ready to go. Make sure that your additional information sheet that the bank sends you matches the loan amount, and that you have everything available. So if you're working with the processor, you can get that done quickly. I know that if you don't have your address matching your entity name with the state, or some of those numbers are off, it can delay the loan or even put you at the bottom of the list there. So it's important to make sure you have it together when you're processing those loans. So what do you do with the money when you get it? And I think there's some strategy to that. I think that our tendencies as business owners are to protect that money, but really what the money is intended for is to pay back to the employees, and it should go directly to them. So let's just say you have a $100,000 loan, for example, and you have to pay $75,000 of that back. The first thing that I personally did is I said, how many pay periods do I have in the 8 weeks? So we pay our employees every 2 weeks. I have 3 business entities, and one of the business entities actually had 5 pay periods with payroll. The other 2 had 4 periods. So let's just say you have a $40,000, you have to pay $40,000 back. That's easy. It's $10,000 a pay period. So budget that and make sure that you have that, that you're reaching that. You don't want to have to make up that money at the end, because if you don't spend that money, you're paying it back, and the money should go towards the employees. So, and hopefully you are able to maintain and retain those employees. I think one of the biggest struggles is bridging and paying those employees until you get the loan. You're hoping to get the loan. You don't know if you're going to get it in 2 weeks and 3 weeks and 3 days. That's the uncertainty about this, and that's the stressful part of it, I think, for us. But let's just say you're able to bridge your employees, you're able to retain them. Make sure you know what you're spending so you're not jamming it in at the end. So let's say you have your money, okay, and you have 8 weeks to spend the money, 75% of it back to the employees. You need to know what you're going to be spending on them, okay? So one of the things that we're doing is, we look at this as, hey, this is free labor for the next 8 weeks to make up for the past 4 to 8 weeks that we just really ate it as far as profit, right? So that's free labor. So what can we do to maximize those opportunities? So one of the things is that we are using that opportunity to maybe train new employees. So this is also kind of a good time to clean house, if you will. Like, say you have a high employee's been with you for a long time, that it's time to cut his salary, it's time to renegotiate it. Now's the time to do that. Or possibly lay them off, and then you can replace that head with somebody that's a lot less expensive, and use this time to train them, because you're actually getting free training because you're being paid for it at this time. Another thing you can do is look at your marketing and see, what leads haven't I closed in the last 3 months or 6 months, and go back, or even a year, and call those and revisit those leads and see if you can close those leads, and put people to work to do some marketing. Maybe hire a marketing person to re-strategize what your business looks like after the whole Corona thing. I think that we're kind of illusionists if we feel that our business is going to be exactly the same and it's going to look different, Some of the ways it may be looking different would be to do online assessments or online this or that, or some kind of distancing sales. So what does that look like? And to explore that and use this time now to market and figure that out, so you're a step ahead of the curve when you do that. So those are some of the things that we're doing on my business. I have 1 contracting business in Connecticut. I have 2 retail businesses in Putnam County. Another thing you can do too is your landlords are more than willing to defer your rent, obviously. But what about asking your landlords to forgive the rent or give you a piece of it? So one of the things that I did is I asked my landlords, hey, listen, I'll give you this amount of money for March rent, and I'll give you this much amount, or April rent, and I'll give you this much amount of money for May rent. You say a 40% discount, something like that, because I want to stay current from that point on, and I want to just stay there. And ask for a forgiveness as opposed to a deferment, because that's actual cash, right? So let's just say your rent's $5,000, and you say to your landlord, give them something reasonable. Say, I'll give you $3,500. You just put $3,000 in your pocket for 2 months, right? And it's forgiven. Obviously, you have to figure out what happens in June when you have to pay your full rent. But you figure it out then. But $3,000 to me now is a lot more valuable than kicking the can down the road and trying to make up a deferment later on. So those are some of the things I'm doing and trying to figure this all out. And I hope those are some little tips that help you guys out. Let's just pray this thing is over soon, and let's try to figure this all out. We're going to get through this. All right. Take care, everyone.